Oh, some of you are going to love this video, really. And when you comment, just kind of control the F-bombs and stuff, and I'll let it in. Because some of you are going to say, this is BS. I bought a very expensive headphone. I saved my money, and then I had something that by spec was very well within the range of being able to push it. But now I have people coming in saying, you're not going to get the best out of that. And then if you invest like a bunch of money into and then insert expensive item here. Like you get to a point and then they say, you need to keep going to here. And then I go on to a thread and then I see people talking about cables. And somebody says, about this set right here. And somebody's saying, you know, you get what you pay for. And I think it was 3 links to 3 cables, all of them ridiculously. All of them more expensive than the custom MESTs. I would buy that. This cable that I bought for the Susvara cost a couple $100. Because the cable that comes with the Susvara is the same one that comes with the HESE, the HE6SE, which is garbage, which is the same that comes with a couple other Hifimans. So I was very surprised that it came with that cable because I can't stand it. But whatever, that's fine. However, synergy, which I believe in, and that you have to pay for that, my mind doesn't process that, or I can't see the correlation, because synergy doesn't mean anything beyond, and I'm using this as we use it in this hobby, that this thing is particularly, it's like this thing has an affinity for this thing, and they do very well together. The synergy between these two, like the synergy between 2 people would mean that they really click. So if you say that about audio gear, you're saying that these things really click. Not audibly, but they match. They're good together. The Hifiman Susvara probably works and has great synergy with something that's around $500. But what is being wrecked to me is things that are much more expensive. And you will be thinking, like I said, the goalposts, like you get and you save for the headphones, and then you get something that by spec should be fine, and then someone's going to come in and say, you're not going to get the best out of that, dude. And I'm not shading on those people, but I'm asking for a little clarification about what exactly they're talking about, because synergy is not the same thing as just raw spec power. Are we talking about clean power? And if I trust Amir at Audio Science Reviews, because, and he's got a YouTube channel, by the way, now, because you can look at his measurements. You can question his gear, though I don't know why you would, because it seems to be sufficient. And nobody's ever accused him of fudging his numbers, so some of the things I've looked at and considered buying are because I'm looking at the numbers, the synad, the output and balanced, and considering that to be good enough for me to go ahead and make purchases. And there's a lot of stuff that's not very expensive that's very highly rated, and it matches in power, and otherwise the specs look good. Like that could drive something that I'm trying to get. However, what Audio Science Review and Amir doesn't take into consideration that I'm aware of is synergy, which is legit. Something like the Opus number 11. You probably likely have no idea what the hell that is. Opus Audio number 11. A gold amp DAC. Never was very popular, but it was connected to a Sony EX1000. Was like amp DAC version of the KLXM. It just made it so much more musical. It was unlike anything. The Sony WM1Z is the flagship DAP by Sony, and it did not sound as great with the EX1000, which was the flagship IM for quite a long time, as the Opus number 11. This is close, but the Opus number 11 amp DAC, if you ever get that, it's micro USB, so the sound is fucking excellent. That is synergy. That sounds obviously different and better, but it's not more expensive, and you can't pin it down to that chip, that low pass filter, that it's not really measurable, or there would be a synergy part of every series of evaluations. The Synad, THD, synergy. You can't, there is no, it's the thing that our brain tells us works well, and again, it's just like 2 people clicking together. There's a synergy, there's an energy, there's a part, they go together well. They seem to match. They seem to have an affinity for one another. You can put that in audio gear too. You can say that the ADI2 DAC, the ADI2 DAC, that army doesn't have synergy with anything. It treats everything the same, which is why my brain clicked with it, because it doesn't seem to put anything on anything. Stuff that's supposed to sound a certain way always does, and it never makes me question its tonality. Like, it's a little warm for this set, it's a little cold for this set. No, it's right down the middle, and it's perfect, and it makes everything sound like what the engineers probably intended it to sound like, and then I do my job and decide if I like it or not, and then use music to explain to you why I think it's a good set or not. And then you can say, I don't listen to his music, fuck him. Or, I don't listen to his music, but I can extrapolate, you know, his talk about kick drums and bass guitars, and then port that into my favorite genre of jazz and stand-up 4-string bass, or classical and low frequency like a cello and stuff like that. So if you're very smart and you love music, you can hear what I'm saying, because I'm speaking the language of music, and you can just easily, without even thinking about it, think, you know, that's where an insert instrument exists. So look, maybe that'll be a problem, or that mid-bass elevation might really kind of get, in fact, in the way of vocals. Or you listen to jazz and there's not many vocals, so you think that probably won't be a problem for me because I'm thinking about a stand-up bass, I'm thinking about a simple drum kit mostly focusing on the snare, I'm thinking about maybe a saxophone, one trumpet, or like, you're figuring that out because you're listening to what I'm saying overall and not in specifics. So I'll go ahead and finish up this video, but this is Summit Phi. I'm here and I'm never leaving. And I gave a video about the Utopia that I'm going to redo because I want to give it more power. Fine. I'm not even... It could come out the same way, but it'll be a better lit video. But the results might be exactly the same. I don't have any motivation to go either way, because if I find something that sounds good, I'm going to keep it in my collection and use it for other stuff. So I don't really care which way it goes, but it's going to be an interesting sense of discovery. If you're one of the people that said I needed something very expensive, there's no shade on you. It might be true. I got a feeling that it's all about synergy, and that there's stuff out there that doesn't cost a lot of money and will make the Susvara sound absolutely fantastic, because they have that magical connection that engineers can't possibly predict. The same will go for the HE. I think that just wants tons of power. That's my preconceived bias. And the Susvara, maybe because I spent a lot of money on it, has some special partner in the audio world, and I just need to hook them up. But I don't think that's really about money. Could be, but I'm doubting on that. So if you got recs about stuff and you've got the Susvara, listen to what I just said, consider it. I might disagree with what your basic thing is, that you think that you need to spend more money. I don't really think so at this stage. Give me 2 recs. Give me the one that you think is best and it's expensive. And if you had, you know, a relative that didn't want to spend that much money, but you really wanted them to get the best so that they could get what you're saying about this and how great it is, that would work too. Technically, I'd pick the, you know, but that'll work too, dude. So give me an A and B, please. That would be great. I'd appreciate it. And welcome to the light. I'm sorry that Utopia video was so poorly lit. I almost pulled it down. Was this less than 10 minutes? I don't know. And I'm out. So Utopia will be coming out again, and then once I get everything set up, after the Utopia comes through, I'll start to do the Hi-Fi Man reviews. And I got other stuff coming in, like other folk out. So I'm out.